So I'm here with Fraser McDonald, who's program director at BTM Canada. And we've recently come into leadership of the organization, and we've had a transition of leadership um, this year. And we're here to talk a little bit about our vision for the organization and our vision for the programming that can be offered in schools in the form of circles. Let's start with in a few words, what do you feel that Boys to Men offers male youth?
It offers a form of education that often gets overlooked in our school system. We have a lot of focus on curriculum that teaches the mind, but we don't have much focus on working with the heart or with emotional reality of all students, but especially young men. And that's something that's not usually culturally reinforced in our society, that men are taught to share their emotions, understand their emotions, communicate their emotions. They're not taught what it means to be in intimate relationship and how to be honest with themselves and to understand what might be happening under the surface of their thinking, that those feelings that may be present, those traumas that may be present that impact their ability to make clear decisions in life and also impact their ability to be comfortable in their own skin. So this is a form of education that really is sometimes underserved. And we at Boys to Men like to offer an opportunity for young men, for youth to understand what it means to be a man by being able to be present with older men, men of all ages that can model what it means to be a person of integrity. They can model as well what it means to share vulnerably and to take risks in order to be a leader in our community, and to give these young men an opportunity to be in a non-judgmental space in which they can see how their mind works, how their emotions works, in which they can develop self-awareness so that they can take better control of their life. And that type of self-awareness can't come in spaces where there isn't a deep level of acceptance and support. And when that deep level of acceptance and support is there, then there is the opportunity for young men and men of all ages to be able to listen to their own inner wisdom and get clarity on their life.
Yeah, being a high school teacher, that's definitely resonant for me that high schools uh, generally in what they're doing and they're calling education, preparing youth for the real world, so to speak, by having them learn to acquire knowledge and apply knowledge and represent the acquisition of that knowledge, that there's often very little time taken or space held for youth to connect with themselves in this way that you're describing. And what that leads to is the influences of our culture and the influences of our technology filling the vacuum um, in these kids' lives. And generally, they only have their peer group in which to navigate those things. They generally don't have spaces with mentors and with teachers, or sometimes even with parents, in order to really get to the underground rivers of what they're feeling and what they're experiencing in order to make sense of how the world is impacting them and to make sense of who they want to be, let alone how to come out of who they're not. So let's talk a little bit about circles. So could you could you tell us what you feel the circle as a modality offers youth and also offers mentors?
Sure. So, Circle is a great opportunity for all people participating to get clear on what really matters, to get to the heart of the matter of the things that are influencing their decisions, their actions, and the way their life is unfolding. And the way this happens is we show up with an attitude of really being ready to listen to ourselves and to each other. And there's a clear structure and container that is in the circle, that it isn't just a place where we have social engagement. Yes, there's a sense of belonging and connection that's created. For some youth, that is already an enormous benefit, that they can be in a space where they're accepted and they don't feel alienated, and they don't need to pretend to be someone they're not in order to try to fit in. And beyond that, once that rapport is established, there's a space in which what we are cultivating is self-awareness, and being able to speak about our experiences into a space like that, where we're not just speaking to sort of carry on a conversation, but we're speaking to really get clear and take our time to look at what is present in our life. That's very rare in this world. Sometimes even people that are really close to us, when we talk, we're talking about social issues, we're talking about sports, we're talking about work. But when it comes to sharing deeper feelings, it can be challenging or a little bit daunting to broach some topics. And we've heard many youth say this, that they find it amazing that sometimes they're there for a few circles and they're speaking about things to a relative group of strangers that they've never spoken to anybody else in their life. And that sort of container, which is a safe container, which everybody agrees, in order to be part of the circle, they agree that they have to maintain this confidentiality and this safety of not sharing or speaking about what is in the circle. With that container that's present, that allows for everyone involved to take the risk to say things that maybe can feel very vulnerable and scary to share. But when we speak them, then we get to feel what it feels like to say that to other people, and to have a reflection come back to us that isn't pointing out our weaknesses, but rather is pointing out the ways in which we have clarity, but also showing us that we have the capacity to really meet these challenges that we're facing in a conscious way that can shift those issues, and also to celebrate our successes. So an uplifting, encouraging environment that's not just glazing over issues by pretending everything's okay, but rather finding the genuine diamond in the rough, because we all have that in every single situation. There is that diamond in the rough that no matter how difficult it is, if we reflect deeply, we can find inner strength and clarity. And that the circle is an opportunity for everyone involved to find the diamonds in the rough of our life.
Mm. Yeah, what I would add on there is just the sacredness of being in a space that honors the truth, and giving youth the opportunity to tell the truth and to hear the truth being spoken, and also to come into being true with these feelings, being true with these struggles in our life, and to see men who value that and honor that, not only for themselves, but in receiving others doing it. It creates an incredible intimacy and safety and a nourishment that very few spaces in our culture provide. Could we just say a little bit, Fraser, about our vision for this organization now that it's under new leadership? We're in a new context post-COVID. We're moving into the future. What do you see is the role of Boys to Men Canada in our society, or more practically, in what ways do you want Boys to Men to grow or evolve?
I feel that there are a number of ways that it can evolve. And there's already a history of really effective approaches to working with these issues. The circle culture that we have, as well as the adventure weekends, there's different opportunities for young men to have profound and powerful experiences that give them the opportunity to reflect deeply. So carrying on with some of those things that have been present in the organization, and carrying on with a strong sense of community, that what we actually really recognize the wisdom and just the unique approaches that each member has to life, and we honor that and celebrate it, including the youth. We're not here as a group of mentors or older men that are just trying to tell the youth what to do. Rather, we're inviting them to step into their own discernment, step into their own understanding of what they're feeling, what they're seeing in the world, and to get clear on that. So that is at the root of what we're doing. And there's a variety of ways to help evoke those capacities and those abilities within the youth and all members of the organization. And as you know, Alex, we have a strong connection in different practices that relate to mindfulness, meditation, qigong, yoga, creative expression. There's a variety of ways in which not just the youth, but mentors can have an opportunity to be able to work with their life, work with the material of our lives, like the challenges, the successes, the opportunities, and to do so in a way that creates a little bit more space that we can get out of habitual patterns. And things like mindfulness and meditation help us cultivate more self-awareness that allows us to recognize the ways in which we're being led astray, or the ways in which we're sort of drifting away from what's really on point and on purpose in our life, or the ways in which we're lying to ourselves. And that brings back this message that you're saying about speaking the truth in a really concrete way. I think we all know what it means to lie to ourselves, but even just like someone being confronted about something and them saying, "Oh, I don't have a problem with that," or like, "Yeah, I feel fine." The amount of times I've said, "Yeah, I feel fine," like I'm not really bothered, but deep inside something is festering and like really stirred up. Like that little lie actually can like start to snowball into a whole bunch of things, because maybe I explode on someone else because I haven't just acknowledged my anger in that moment. And so what I see with Boys to Men is just introducing more opportunities to reach out to people who have different interests and ways of accessing this sort of process of cultivating self-awareness. For some people, it's about being in a circle and sharing really deep and vulnerable truths. For other people, it might be about developing a breathing practice because they already have a little bit of an understanding of how their mind works, and they want to be able to be in a space that is a potential learning, and to be able to offer this to youth as well too. I wish that I had the foundation that I have now. I wish that I had that sort of the breathing practice, the meditation practice, the different physical movements. I wish I had that when I was younger, and that I learned to express myself. So not forcing it, that's the important part, is really meeting each of the youth where they're at, and to respond to what we're seeing in the circles, reflect on where we see the needs are, and coming up with new and fresh approaches to help hopefully meet everybody in a way that really feels resonant and true for them and their particular way of thinking about the world and moving in the world.
Nice. For me, the distillation there is that the organization is advancing the project of Western education to know thyself, and giving youth the opportunity to tap in to that movement, to practices that help develop that, and to relationships and a mentoring network that not only honors that, but cultivates that amongst its members and for the individuals involved.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for taking the time with me to make this video. My name's Alex Bond-Miller. I'm the Executive Director of Boys to Men Canada, and Fraser McDonald, who is the Program Director. We thank you. We hope to see you at one of our events or get involved in our organization. Thank you very much.
Yeah.